we're going to look at how to rearrange formula and make X the subject in this tutorial. Now, what that means is that you have to make the letter that they want in the question the subject, which means at the moment W is the subject in this formula because it's by itself on one side of the equal sign. So we need to make X the subject, which means that we need to move the 4 and the E away from the X so that X is by itself, and therefore X would be the subject at that point. So like I said, W is the subject at the minute because it's by itself on one side of the equal sign. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to decide, are we going to move the 4 or the E? Well, we need to move the value or letter that is not attached to the X, which means that we're going to move the E. Now it's a positive E, so to move it we are going to subtract E from both sides, because if I subtract E from this side it disappears because E minus E is 0, and that means to balance things out I must subtract it from the W. So if this is removed, I'm left with 4x on this side, and then on the other side of the equal sign I have the W there already, but I'm subtracting E from it. Now because they are letters and not numbers, I cannot simplify that, so I just have to write it as W minus E. It's important that you recognize the W is already there and you are subtracting E from it. Don't get mixed up, don't write E minus W, it's W minus E, because the W is already there and you are subtracting E from it. Now the next step is that we need to move the 4. Now, at the moment the 4 is being multiplied onto the X, because in algebra when we have a number wrote next to a letter, they are being multiplied together. To split those apart and move the 4, I must divide both sides by 4. So if I divide this side by 4, it removes the 4, leaving me with an X, which is what I want, the X to be by itself, X being the subject. And then on the other side I have W minus E there already, and I need to divide all of that by the 4. It's important that you recognize that you're dividing all of what is there already by the 4, not just the W, not just the E, it's all of it by the 4. And that is the X as the subject because it's by itself, so I've rearranged it, making X the subject.